Let me ask you this. What do you think of when you hear the word tablet? Apple, Samsung, Microsoft? How about Amazon? Yeah, didn't think so. For those that are unaware, the Kindle was a tablet e-reader specifically designed for reading ebooks to purchase through Amazon. Typically, there are 3 different kinds: the Kindle, the Paperwhite, and the Fire. The former 2 are typical e-readers, while the Fire is more of a tablet similar to the iPad or Samsung. But how does it hold up? I received this Kindle Fire in 2012, and back in the day, these were relatively popular. But you may not have noticed that these Kindles have fallen out of the limelight. Why? Well, we'll get to that. But right now, let's see how well these hold up after 4 years. And keep in mind, the last time I used this was around 2013. Yes, this should be interesting. The Kindle comes equipped with 2 side speakers, a power button, a mini USB port, and a headphone jack, along with a power adapter. Okay, so we have the Kindle here, and so we're just going to power it on. The power button's right on the bottom here. So, yeah, as you can see, the background changes every time you reopen it. So, as you can see, it says Monday, January 3rd, but it's actually December 13th. So this is the lock screen, so all you gotta do is just swipe there, and here we go. The Kindle Fire. So, wow. I'm actually embarrassed of how this looks. So, as you can see, a lot of the icons are all pixely. I guess they haven't updated it. Keep in mind, I haven't used this since 2013. So, and it's almost 2017 now, so. You know, in terms of response time, it's actually pretty good. You know, it's about as fast as my smartphone, so it's not too bad. The Kindle Fire is supporting a 1 GHz 4430 Cortex A9 dual-core processor, 512 MB of RAM, 2-point multi-touch LCD, and 8 GB of internal storage. Obviously, nothing mind-blowing by today's standards, but for $200 back in the day, it was a real bargain. In fact, these specs are better than the first generation iPad, supporting a 1 GHz ARM Cortex A8 along with 256 MB of RAM, and almost exactly the same specs as the iPad 2, with the glaring exception of the price tag and storage space. So, alright, let's try to open some apps. Here, Angry Birds, that's a favorite. Okay, so automatic details. Okay. And oh, it just crashed. That's nice. Here, Trash Can game. That was a cool game back in the day. Alright, well, this seems to work. Yeah. Oh. And there he goes. It crashes again. Never mind. So, yeah, there's a lot of internal failures here because this thing is so old. And it hasn't updated in a while. So, here you can see this little cube of YouTube. I don't think the Amazon App Store had a dedicated YouTube app at the time. So that's why it's not here. So here we have our notepad. These are just old notes I took when I was in high school. Yeah, this is the only one that still seems to work. So one thing you'll notice is that the Kindle does not have a home button at the bottom. Here, let's try the drawing tablet. The best way to do this was with the stylus pen. And that just crashed. Wow, I'm actually embarrassed of how bad this is. Let's try to open Facebook. Security warning. So yeah, one thing you'll notice, this does get a lot of security warnings. I'm not entirely sure why. It is connected to Wi-Fi, and it just doesn't seem to want to work. So we'll just ignore, and you got to do this a number of times for it to work. Another thing, I don't think this technically does have a Facebook app on it, but I don't really think it works. But it looks like it's just in a different browser, like a web browser. So let's try Craigslist. And nothing happened. Well, that's just nice. And it just crashed. This is bad. This is really bad. Here, let's try some setting. This is the system version 6.3.3, so I would update it, but it doesn't really do it of anything, so I guess there's no real way of updating this in order to possibly getting it to work right. So, I don't know. It's important to note that I don't have any ebooks on here anymore, so I don't know if those would still work or not. Now, before anyone says anything, I do know there are ways to put Android OS on these tablets, but despite my best efforts and using many different methods, and there are tons of tutorials all over YouTube, but for some reason, I just can't get them to work. I also tried to find some Kindle Fire firmware updates, like to update it to the latest version to maybe getting it to working better, but sadly, they didn't work either. And honestly, I'm not surprised by this at all. Many things just aren't built to last anymore. Companies are accused of planned obsolescence all the time. You buy an electronic device 1 year, and then a couple years down the line, it either breaks down or is no longer supported by insert company here. Sadly, that's just the reality of technology and business. But anyway, guys, that does it for me. Hope you enjoyed, and if so, let me know in the comments below, and be sure to follow me on all my social media. And as always, I'll see you next time.